Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Surjit Singh. Today I'll talk about the Leetcode problem of merging of two linked lists. Welcome to my video. Let us begin. In this problem, we are given two sorted linked lists. We need to merge them into a single sorted linked list. In the first method, we will consider a recursive solution to this problem. Consider these two given linked lists. Let us suppose the memory addresses of the 6 nodes are A, B, C, D, E, F. The contents of pointer variables reflect those addresses too. Let us look at function merge two lists A, D to merge them. The first two if statements cover two edge cases. As list 1 is not empty, the if statement is skipped. The second list is also not empty, so the next if statement is also skipped. Val A is 1 and val D is 2, so the if statement is true and the final head after merging A and D will be A. But before we return A, we need to merge the next node of A with D. Note that the next node of A is B. This means that we need to first merge the lists with head B and D, and then we will assign the head of the merged list to A next. So execution suspends here and the next merge call starts. A next is B, so next call parameters are B and D. Both bval and dval are 2. In such cases, we give preference to the first list. So B will be the head of the merged list, but before we return B, we need to merge B next with D and their combined head will be the new B next. In the next recursive call, B next is C, so we will merge C and D. C val is 4, which is more than 2, the value of D val, so we perform the else part. D will be the head after merging C and D, but before returning that, we will merge C and D next and save the pointer in D next. This shows the merging of C and E. C val is more than E val, so we execute the else part. Next call is for merging of C and E next, that is the merging of C and F. C val is 4, which is less than F val, which is 5. So we follow the if part. The next call parameters are none and F. This is an edge case that returns F without recursion. The previous call receives this F, so C next value, which is none, is replaced with F, which is pictorially shown as this. Now this returns C, which is received by its previous call. E next changes from F to C, which is shown like this, and then it returns E to the previous call, which becomes this. D next is already E, so it is reaffirmed and it returns D to the previous call, which becomes this. So B next changes from C to D and is shown as this. After this, it returns B, which is received by the previous call. As A next is already B, it is reaffirmed and A is returned to the main program as the final head of the merged list. At this return statement, scope of all local variables ends. Note that the nodes are not moved or copied, they remain in their previous memory locations and only their next pointers are modified. If m and n are the numbers of nodes of two lists, the time complexity is of the order of m plus n because every node is processed only once. There are m plus n calls of the function in the call stack. So space complexity is of the order of m plus n. Now we will write the non-recursive solution for the same problem. Consider the same linked lists. We define a dummy head for output list and copy it to tail. We run a loop while both list1 and list2 are not none. List1 val is less than list2 val, so we follow the if path. Tail next becomes list1 and list1 shifts to its next node. Tail moves to its next node. In the second iteration, list1 val is equal to list2 val. Tail next is already list1, we reaffirmed it. List1 moves to its next node. Tail moves to its next node. In the third iteration, list2 val is less than list1 val, so we execute the else part. Tail next points to list2. List2 moves to its next node. Tail moves to its next node. In the next iteration, 3 is less than 4. Tail next is equal to list2 is reaffirmed. List2 moves to its next node. Tail moves to its next node. In the next iteration, 4 is less than 5. Tail next becomes list1. We shift list1 to its next position and tail to its next position. Now that list1 is none, the loop terminates. As list1 is none, tail next becomes list2, dummy next becomes the return value, and the scope of all the local variables such as list1, list2, tail, and dummy is finished. There is no change in time complexity, whereas the space complexity is constant. Thank you for your time. Please stay tuned for my more videos on LeetCode problems.